live from the tin can, reporting from the underground. Two major, to me, apparently not really to the world, not the financial world, not many news outlets, maybe not as it deserve, but to me, major incidents that really should, I don't want to be a fear mongering, but I would say should worry or at least draw attention of people, because it really affects directly and immediately the people, meaning the citizens, and not some kind of a political thing, political incidents, or a remote military conflict that doesn't really affect locally the population of the work, like the ordinary man. So what I'm referring to is one, and I'm pulling this information from Perplexity AI. So whatever they pulled, this is what I'm reading from, is that a major power outage is affecting still now southeast Berlin since early Tuesday morning, September 9th, 25. Basically, the two high voltage electricity pylons, that's how they're called. It's like the main, and it's suspected to be an arson attack. It affected about 50,000 households and businesses, and gradually decreased to 20,000 and so forth. But still, as of today, which I believe is Wednesday, 24 hours later, it's not really remediated? How do you say it? Rectified? Based on a letter of admission showed up in some lefty, hard left. It's interesting that right, they say far right, but left, they don't say far left. Even though if you look at some of the left parties today, they should be like, not far, but like the far, far, far left. But we're going to leave it at that. And so apparently there was like some kind of, because there is some kind of a military complex or military installation that is using the same power, and they wanted to do that against the German military, whatever. So that's one thing, that one incident, and the other incident that has not drawn enough, in my opinion, enough attention is September 25. I believe that was this week, meaning the week of the 7th, like the first week of December, and the first week of December. Several submarine fiber optic cables in the Red Sea near Saudi Arabia were cut, leading to widespread internet disruptions across parts of Asia, Middle East, and Africa. I know that also it affected Europe as well. If you consider Greece to be Europe, I mean, not southern Italy where I am, but in southern Greece, which is really not far from here. If you look at the direct line, I have a friend over there that reported that Google is down, and many people cannot use their credit card and so forth due to this outage. I believe Microsoft cloud service was down as well due to this cable cut. I believe it's called Azure. Anyway, bottom line is, it says over here September 5th, 2025, causing slow internet speed, increased latency, and connectivity issues in countries such as Pakistan, India, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and other. Microsoft reported. Now, experts suggest the most likely cause of the damage was a ship dragging its anchor. which is common in shallow waters like the Red Sea. However, concerns exist about potential deliberate targeting linked to ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict and Houthi rebel activity in Yemen, though there is no confirmed attribution. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but if you ask me, I would say, I don't know, 70% this is not an accident. And the reason why I'm saying that is because just the location. That's basically what I'm saying. And just overall what's happening in the world, on that background of what's happening, this is a classic war like sabotage. People are not awake, like the common man is not, because people are so busy with work and paying the bills and living life, with TikTok and posting and Instagram and taking selfies. So all this, what it does, it distracts you. It steals your attention from what's really happening. That's really my opinion. Like if I would have to, I think it's a genius. First of all, I think it's a genius way of, and I'm not saying that happened on purpose, that somebody like really engineered social media. I think it developed organically from the development of internet, because all those phenomena of showing off and taking selfies and look at me and see me and be jealous, making other people wants to envy you, that was in existence before internet, before social media. That's not a new thing. That was, but excuse me, but that was localized, meaning you had, let's say you lived in a small town, so you had one guy who had a whatever fancy car, and he had to drive around that fancy car and show off, so everybody's jealous. And it used to give him satisfaction just to make other people jealous. I think it's a very human, look at me, I made it, or whatever, I have money, and now women will be drawn to me, and then another man who's going to be jealous of me. So, wow, excuse me. So I believe that this is, the internet did not create it, the internet just amplified it. And wow, it's getting stuffy here in the tin can. I had to open up the door because I felt like a dead sardine for a minute, wrapped up in olive oil. So, yeah. So at the same time that those two major incidents that are both related basically to, I would say, communication and electricity, meaning one basically, the fiber optic cables that have been disconnected. So once you don't have that, you have a really bad internet access or none, and it takes many months to repair. And then the second thing is, when you have no electricity at all, then those people had also no internet, because it was a main. So I believe that also affected the internet access. I'm so sorry. It's very humid where I am right now, and it's kind of hot, and allergies. And I had 2 cups of coffee, so I think like everything together really made me stuffy. Basically no electricity or no internet or both, and then at the same time a company like Oracle is up about, I don't know, 30%, 28%, 25%, like an after hours session or one day. And I'm like, wouldn't you, if you are looking at what's happening like in the background and you zoom out, and I'm not being a doom and gloom guy over here, I'm just like realistically looking, okay, there is a war for many years now on European soil. Just yesterday, I read in the news this morning that a Russian drone has been shot down over Poland, and the parts of it fell on a Polish house near the border. I'm not saying there is like an invasion. I'm just saying this is a fact, right? Like this is what's happening right now these days. Excuse me. And that's regardless to the Russian-Ukraine war that involves Russia, North Korea, Iran, and most likely China. Right? This is a fact. This is the backdrop. This is what's happening. I'm not inventing some fake news here. And then you have Israel against half of the planet with the backing of the U.S. You like it or hate it, this is what's happening. Basically, everybody is ganging up against Israel, either politically or like in a physical combat. And Israel is attacking, in all directions. This is not the center of the conversation right now. The point I'm trying to make, but it is a fact that is happening. Excuse me. And Israel just attacked in Qatar yesterday, trying to assassinate Hamas leaders. They increased their operation in Gaza. If you haven't known, the Egyptian are conducting drills in the Sinai Peninsula, which is against the Israeli-Egyptian peace agreement. What else is happening? Yemen is attacking, is shooting. Yemen and Israel are fighting. There was the Iranian-Israel war. There was the Syria thing, the Lebanon thing. There's still stuff going on in Syria. There's stuff going on and these are not even, we didn't even get started. We're not talking about Sudan and all the stuff that's happening in Africa. We're not talking about the stuff that's happening between Venezuela and the U.S. and the U.S. and the drug cartels that are being sponsored by China and are in cahoots in bed with the Hezbollah and Iran. So there is a big, if you just do a zoom out, just a brief zoom out, you don't have to dig into the nitty gritty, right? You just do a brief zoom out and you look at all that, and I'm sure there are more conflicts happening, right? There is more tension. Everybody's talking about Taiwan and China. There's always the North Korea, South Korea thing. There was a Pakistan, India. There was Cambodia, Thailand. There's a lot of frictions going on, political and military frictions, all across the world right now, right? Just yesterday in Nepal, you've seen a mob is taking on the politicians, beating them, burning them alive. There's a horrible stuff. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just describing. Okay, I don't bring my personal political agenda right now. I'm just describing stuff that's happening every day, right? You have all the deportations in the U.S. and the U.S. and you have all the migrant crisis in Europe. And parties are becoming more and more to the extreme, meaning there is more extreme right, more extreme left, and sometimes that stuff is turning violent, right? You have people in the U.S. You have the head of United Health being killed by a left-wing activist, just in broad daylight, murdered, being shot in the head or whatever in the back, and you have all those hate crimes, right? That are politically motivated, and you have demonstrations, people in the streets, people from both sides, right? Maybe one is more, one is less, but it's really bubbly. It's really happening, and when I was a teenager, and I don't want to sound like an old annoying person, okay, there were like local conflicts, yes, but it wasn't like all over the place, all right? It wasn't, and then we had the fall of the communist regime, supposedly in the fall of the USSR. And yes, it was a violent kind of, but it just kind of happened. It wasn't so. Those were incidents that led to hope. Meaning, I remember for me, growing up, being a teenager in the 90s, and a kid in the 80s, and watching the fall of the Berlin Wall, and watching Ceausescu from Romania being shot, and all those dictators are falling, and to see those countries are fighting for their freedom, there was a sense of optimism for me as a young kid, young adult. I don't know how you want to call it, young teenager. But now I look in and I see those conflicts. They're not conflicts that are conflicts of optimism, meaning it's not an oppressed North Koreans fighting for their freedom. It's the other way around. It's free countries fighting for their tyranny, if that even makes sense. But this is what's happening. And if you are a regular person and you're like, wait a minute, if I live in Berlin and any minute, and apparently in ease, leftist activists, it's not even done by supposedly a hostile government or a Turk, it's just like leftist activists, and I'm not disrespecting them, but that's not an elite military unit. They can shut off the electricity for 50,000 people in ease. So would you be like, shrug it off and be like, okay, whatever? Or if you are a regular citizen, what should you do? Like, should you at least have a battery and a solar panel so you can at least, I don't know, try to, you're going to have something if you need to keep yourself warm, because winter is coming. And I know, okay, I know Germany is still buying Russian gas, but they turned off their nuclear, and they're relying on wind and solar proudly. And if there is no electricity main line, so you cannot enjoy that wind and solar energy or any other energy that is electric. So what are you going to do if you don't have any heat source in December? And they're trying to push heat pumps instead of transitioning to heat pumps instead of central heating, because central heating, if I'm not mistaken, was widely gas-based, and even if it's nuclear or hot water or whatever, it's still what is, if it's a heat pump, then it's electric. And then no internet. So if you have all your money online or in a bank online or somewhere in the cloud. I love, by the way, how the internet has been renamed to the cloud. Like, it used to be the internet, just on a server on the internet, and they started calling it the cloud, I guess, to make it more, I don't know, appealing to stupid people. Whatever. So if your all stuff is in the cloud, including your bank account with your euros or whatever currency you're holding, what do you have in your possession right now if there is no electricity for a few days, if there is no internet for a few days? you cannot pay with a credit card. What if it's not going to last just a few days? What if it's going to last more than a few days? What? How is your Bitcoin is going to help you? How is your ATM card or credit card is going to help you? What is happening in the planet with all those wars that is going to protect you? So I believe this is the question that many people need to ask themselves, not as a gloom and doom, but just being realistic. Like those people in Berlin now, 50,000 people, 30,000 people, whatever, 20,000 after they fixed it. What are they doing? How do they keep warm? How do they heat up their food? How do they make coffee? How do they take a shower? What do they do? Like there is no traffic lights. How do they drive their kids to school? How do they get to work? That's a lot of questions, and that's only 24 hours. Okay, you can swing it, but what if it's a 1 month? What if it's a 1 week? What are the social economical effects of that? And that's in Berlin. That's not in a I don't know. I mean, in Serbia, okay. That's in Berlin, almighty Germany. So I don't know. You do the math. You make up your own conclusion. But for me, as a person, just those two incidents, while at the same time the like Bitcoin is 100 whatever, 114, 120, and you have technology companies jumping at 20, 30%. I mean, there is a dissonance. There is a very, these are two different, like, for me, on the backdrop of those two incidents, I would say I need physical stuff, right? I need some kind of weapon to protect myself. I need some kind of, excuse me, cash at home, so I can pay, or any other valuable item that I can use as payment. I need storage of energy, storage of food, just so I can get by. I need an electric blanket so I can, if I had a kid, I can cover them if it gets, excuse me, if it gets colder, because electric blanket doesn't use a lot of energy, and you can hook it up to a battery for a while, for a few hours, for like a battery that you can recharge via solar or whatever. So again, I'm not a prepper, but hey, if this is not, like, what am I going to do with my stocks that went up 30% if I cannot even exercise those gains because I have no internet and I have no power? How am I going to use my Bitcoin to pay if they cut, as an act of war, they cut fiber cables and there is no internet? I can't use my credit card. I can drive my electric car, right? I mean, I can drive, but I cannot recharge the battery. And in places, this is September, we're going into the cold season, the darker season in Germany and in Europe, most of Europe, most of at least Northern Europe and Central, Mid-Europe. I don't know if there is a name like that. It doesn't really get very sunny. I don't know if you lived in any of those countries during the winter, it's kind of depressing and cloudy most of the time. No disrespect. So what are you going to do? And even if there is electricity being generated by the sun, I mean, the network of electricity is being damaged. You have no electricity. So I think the people should take their hands off TikTok for a moment, off Instagram for a moment, off Facebook for a moment, off YouTube, off whatever their head is buried in, and look around and at least be ready for something to carry you for a week. I'm not saying be a crazy prepper, but have some right. I don't know, like, man, you do your own thing. I'm not telling anybody what to do. But having a few pounds of rice, a few kilos of rice to pull you through, I think that's not a bad thing. And maybe rice with some canned tuna and salt and whatever canned vegetables you have. Doesn't sound really appetizing, but trust me, after you haven't eaten for a day, that's a Michelin guide dinner over there. Michelin. That's a 5-star, 5 étoiles, 5 stelle. All right. This is a big deal. So again, I don't have kids. I have enough cat food for 6 months. Not for me, but for my cats. So I don't care. I have my battery. I have my solar panel, and I'm gonna get by. But I know I'm definitely an exception. So good luck, and get ready.